There were a ton of really awesome new manga that came out in July of 2025, so let's talk about them. Welcome to the Manga Buyer's Guide for July of 2025. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy this video. If you're not, then this might look a little bit different than what you are used to, and I'll explain that in just a second here. Now, as usual, I do want to kind of explain exactly what the buyer's guide is, so there's no confusion, especially for people who might be new here. This is not a guide of every single new release that comes out throughout the month. I focus on this video on these buyer's guide videos. I focus on the new debuts, so volume ones, single volume releases, and I also do talk about the final volumes as well. The point of these videos is to help manga readers and collectors like yourself and like myself to make sure that we don't miss out on anything that comes out, any of these new debuts, because it is very easy with so many publishers out there right now putting so many new things out. It's really easy to miss something that could wind up being your new favorite. So my hope is that together we can make it through and not miss out on something that we might wind up loving. Now, this looks a little different. The camera and audio is probably not the same quality as it usually is because I am doing a live recording, and then instead of having to edit, we're going to kind of live record me going through the actual slideshow of all the stuff rather than editing in the slides myself. I'm hoping that this goes pretty well. It's really just because I don't have time to edit this video before the end of the day today on the 31st. Like, I'm literally filming this at the last minute, but do still want to get it out before the month of July is over. I don't plan on doing this often. It's just kind of, in this particular case, it's what I need to do. But there is one other video that I was planning on doing this with because it's a much longer one. I didn't really have to spend all of that time editing that. Anyway, let's get into talking about the new manga releases for July, but we're going to start with something that I missed from last month, from June, and that is Short Game, Mitsuru Adachi's baseball short story collection. This is coming from Denpa. It's really easy to miss stuff from Denpa because their books get delayed a lot and release dates change all the time. And really, it takes a lot of just paying attention to what they're talking about on socials to know what is going to the printer and stuff. And as for this one, I just wasn't paying attention, I guess, and I didn't see that it was put out at the end of June, but it is out there now, and it's great. It's a really nice collection of short stories from creator Mitsuru Adachi, who is a really fantastic creator, but unfortunately, we really don't have much of his stuff in English. We have Cross Game, which is amazing, and we do also have Short Program, and this is just the third license that we have of his. Their description was, from the pen of Mitsuru Adachi comes a collection of what else but high school baseball themed short stories compiled from magazines such as Superior Spirits and Shonen Sunday. This release also features a special short from the limited edition Shonen Sunday graphic Touch, which Shogakukan produced in honor of the 30th anniversary of Adachi's legendary series Touch, which we don't have in English. Whether looking for romance, drama, mystery, or comedy, this is the definitive modern collection of Adachi's sports manga. So I am really hoping that we'll get more stuff from Adachi in the future, such as Touch or many of the other legendary titles that he's done. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But let's get into the books that are out on the first, or that came out on the 1st of July, starting with Nue's Exorcist Volume 1. This is a new one from Viz Media and the Shonen Jump line. It's been ongoing in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine since May of 2023. And the description is, a powerful spirit awaits the right human to free her, and she's ready for some PvP. For as long as he can remember, Gakuro Yajima has been able to see spirits, beings that are drawn to human sadness and anger. A fateful encounter with a quirky pop culture loving spirit named Nue marks the start of Gakuro's Spirit Exorcist adventure. Next up from the Shoujo Beat line, I just skipped ahead by accident. Let me go back. The Demon Prince of Momochi House Succession. This is a spin-off from the original Demon Prince of Momochi House. The supernatural fantasy Demon Prince of Momochi House continues several years later with Himari and Aoi living together in her new Momochi house. I never read the original one, but I'm sure fans of that one are excited to have this available. This is still ongoing in Japan with just 2 volumes as I last checked. Next up, we go to some Yen Press books. First up, I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. A high school loner runs into the second prettiest girl in his class at the video store and finds that they have more in common than just the B movies that they came to rent. So if you want a nice rom-com, this might be a good one for you. Next up, we have The Hitman Stands. Legendary hitman retires so he can spend all his free time standing his favorite idol, but his past won't stay buried. The plot line is very similar to The Geek X Hitman, also from Yen Press, so if you enjoyed that one, which I personally did, this might be one for you to check out. Next up, we've got Sanctify Lost Paradise. This comes from Tokyo Pop, the spin-off bonus volume of sexy supernatural boys love series Sanctify. Happiness slips through our fingers the moment we reach for it, and once it's gone, it's lost forever. This one is mature. There is a content warning on there, so keep that in mind. And then let's move over to a new one coming from Titan Manga, Cosmic Censorship. Mecha mastermind Ryuichi Sadamatsu creates a world threatened by destructive weapons and formidable foes, reminiscent of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Accompany Maki Makino as she learns to navigate her new powers and a budding romance amidst a chaotic conflict. It was an interesting first volume for sure, and it's only a 5-volume series, so not too much of a commitment on this one. Next up from 7 Seas, we have Tokyo Revengers, the brilliant full color edition omnibus volume 1. If you are a fan of Tokyo Revengers, I have this one and it looks fantastic. The coloring is really well done on this, so I would recommend it for fans of the franchise. If you're not a fan of the franchise, you can start here, or you can start with the black and white edition. But either way, it is really, really nice looking. I have no idea if they plan on doing the entire series in these. It does collect the first 2 volumes, though, just like the original, or just like their 2-in-1 of the black and white edition. But yeah, I don't know if they plan on doing the whole thing, because a lot of publishers with the colored editions will do like selected chapters or 1 or 2 volumes, but not the whole series. So we'll see what happens here, but definitely for big fans of the franchise. Moving on, another one from 7 Seas is BL Game Rebirth, My New Life as the Hero's Younger Brother. One Boys Love fan gets the ultimate Fujoshi experience when they're reincarnated into a BL game as the brand new main character. This one's still ongoing with 4 volumes right now. Another one from 7 Seas is What It Means to Be You. This is a webtoon series that ran from March 2021 to November of 2024. Tragic romance gets a second chance when one woman switches bodies with her husband. Full-color manhwa webtoon comic in English print for the first time ever. So I don't know how many volumes it will wind up being, but it is concluded, so it shouldn't be too terribly long. Then from Dark Horse, this was a really fun release from the beginning of the month. H.P. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space. H.P. Lovecraft's horror story rendered in chilling detail by modern manga horror master Go Tanabe. The complete story in 1 volume featuring a tip-in title page in metallic gold ink and 4 pages in color. Even the folk of Arkham are frightened of the valley west of town, blighted and deformed by something that fell from space, a twisting spectral hue. This one came out. I grabbed my copy when it came out earlier this month, and I loved it. I love all of these Tanabe Lovecraft books, and this one was no different. They've already announced their next one, I think, was The Shape Out of Time. Was that what it was called? And they're pretty close to having all of Tanabe's Lovecraft available in English. I'm just hoping that they'll do more hardcovers like they did for At the Mountains of Madness, because that one was a gorgeous one. And then wrapping up the first week, we've got something a little different. Spawn manga, Shadows of Spawn, by Juzo Tokoro. Encounter new spawns and iconic villains as a vengeful spawn battles gangsters while trying to protect his loved ones. Meet Ken Kurosawa, a former bodyguard whose life ends in a car bomb during a gang war, leading him to a fateful deal with Malebolgia. Now he must confront his past in a gripping tale of manipulation and destiny. This is pure manga magic. So if you are already a fan of the Spawn franchise, then this is probably something that you will be interested in. If you're not, I don't know, maybe, but it's 600 pages of shonen action for $18. So yeah, next, the only final volume for the first week at your service, In Another World Volume 2 from Seven Seas. Now moving into the books released on the 8th, we start out with a big one from Viz, part of their Shonen Sunday line, Yaiba Samurai Legend Volume 1 from Gosho Aoyama. These, I believe, are 2-in-1, so there should be only 10 volumes total. The first full-length adventure from Gosho Aoyama, creator of Case Closed or Detective Conan. Yaiba Kurogane is an energetic young swordsman who's grown up in the jungle, training to be a samurai with his father, Kenjiro. When they return to Japan, chaos seems to follow wherever Yaiba goes. Destined to be a legendary hero, Yaiba must learn to be a true samurai and save the world. So if you've been enjoying the new anime adaptation, this is definitely one that you'll want to go ahead and pick up. Or if you're just a fan of Aoyama from Detective Conan / Case Closed, then you'll definitely want to grab this because this was his series that preceded it. That ran from 88 to 93, and it definitely has that great like early 90s shonen style to it. I read the first volume about a week ago, really enjoyed it. I'm glad that we finally have this one coming in English. But let's move on to our next one, which is also from Viz, Spider-Man Kizuna. This is you as a young boy suddenly bestowed with the powers of the amazing Spider-Man. Can he find his courage in time to save the day? It's kind of more of a chibi styled series. It's a little funny action thing, and it has a lot of cool references and like references to characters, because none of them are literally the characters from the comics. They're all like versions of existing characters, but it's really fun. I think definitely fun for people who are already fans of Spider-Man. And speaking of, we also got Ultraman Along Came a Spider-Man Volume 1. Worlds collide in this meetup between two iconic heroes. When a battle against Dr. Doom goes awry, Spider-Man is transported across dimensions to a Japan where giant monsters known as kaiju roam, and the country is protected by a giant of light, Ultraman. This was not a surprise, given that for the past several years, Marvel has been putting out Ultraman comics. I don't know if they still are, but they, at least at the beginning, were written by Kyle Higgins. So it's not surprising that a publisher in Japan wound up doing a crossover Ultraman manga with a Marvel character, and who better to do it with than Spider-Man? Both of these were entertaining. As far as like an action series, I think this one is better than Kizuna, but Kizuna is really cute and funny. Moving on, I really enjoyed this one, Tsumiki Ogami's Not So Ordinary Life Volume 1. This is another Sunday title. Cute werewolf girl helps a timid human boy gain the confidence he's always dreamed of having. Yutaka Shinso is constantly worried about what other people think of him. Hoping to turn over a new leaf, he changes high schools, but there's something strange afoot. Vampires, ogres, and all manner of supernatural beings walk the halls. Yutaka is particularly drawn to Tsumiki Ogami, a confident and popular werewolf. Will Tsumiki be the one to help Yutaka overcome his insecurities? I don't know about that, but the first volume was very entertaining. I'm a fan, and I can't wait to read more of this one. Moving on, another Viz one, Twisted Wonderland, Book of Octagonale, Volume 1, based on the hit mobile game from Disney. This is the third or fourth, I think the fourth Twisted Wonderland series that we've gotten in English. Each of them are based in the various like dorms in the game. I've never played the game or read any of it, but every time I talk about one, I learn a little bit more. So basically, as I understand it, there's different dorms, and each of the dorms are based on one of the villains from one of the Disney movies, and this one in particular is inspired by Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So we've done, I know the last one was like based on Scar from The Lion King, for instance. Since we're doing this live, you're gonna get all warts and all on this one. So seeing me take sips of water while I'm talking a lot, I forgot to put that one on the screen. But anyway, here's the cover. Again, sorry, this is a rough take. For Disney Twisted Wonderland, you can see the motif of the seaweed at the top and the octopus at the bottom. Moving on, Convenience Semi-Friend, Volume 1. This is from Yen Press. Suna, a gloomy high schooler, moves away from home to live in the school's dorm, and when she nervously enters her new room, she finds her roommate feeling up another girl. Suna is unsure if this is just what friends do, but is ready to take the first step towards becoming semi-friends. Next one, also from Yen, is a new Sword Art Online series, Unital Ring. Kirito and friends find themselves thrust into a mysterious new game called Unital Ring. Even worse, all their stats have been reset. In such a brutal environment, will they manage to survive? I feel like it's been a minute since there was a new debut for a Sword Art series, but here we go. So fans of that franchise, you get another one. Next up, we've got one from Tokyo Pop. You Can't Live All on Your Own, Volume 1. What is considered normal for a 30-year-old? Should she be married, have a career, live independently? A cute and quirky slice of life manga about 4 women who are roommates. This one's only 3 volumes long, so if you want a fun Jose's slice of life, there you go. Moving on to something a little different, we've got from 7 C's, Sex Drive, Volume 1, My Listless Instructor. When one woman is afflicted with a disease that causes her to go into heat, she winds up in the world of sex espionage and paired with a handsome, experienced man. This one, I believe, is only 2 volumes long, so if you are interested in sex espionage, that is definitely a good one to pick up for you. Moving on, we've got another from 7 C's, My Younger Knight Takes Care of Me in Another World. A sexy boys love isekai about an overworked salaryman who winds up in another world and under the protection of a handsome knight with a secret. Another 2-volume series there. Feisty Omega and his twin mates. Another one from 7 C's. When one Omega is rescued by a set of alpha twins, he finds his whole life turned upside down in this Omegaverse boys love manga. Now we can go over to the Ink Pop title. I think this is the first one from this new publisher. I Wanna Be Your Girl, Volume 1. Being in love with your childhood best friend can be complicated, especially when, right before high school, she transitions to living as a girl. Printed for the first time in English, this manga series tells a thoughtful story about the complications of first loves, friendship, and what it truly means to be an ally. This is a 4-volume seinen drama series, coming again from Ink Pop, which is a pretty new publisher. Then we have one from Kuma that I've talked about several times before because it's gotten delayed a few times. Haberdashery Ginmokusei. The manga centers on a man who inherits a haberdashery in Ginza. He's not running the business well, but one day a handsome, well-dressed man comes to the store and tells him how to run it. Then we've also got one from One Piece Books, Tepeki Honeymoon, Volume 1. It's an 8-volume shoujo series. Everything is going wrong for high schooler Enna, who locally renowned for her super strength, when her life takes a strange turn. She becomes the betrothed of the unexpectedly gorgeous Sake, a bodyguard and heir to a major security company. But is she jumping out of the frying pan and into the ready, aim, fire? He strikes a bargain to pay off her family's debts after 2 months, as long as she agrees to certain steamy conditions. Can Enna make this relationship of convenience work without getting in too deep? And that wraps it up for the second week. Here are the final volumes. We've got Ayakashi Triangle Volume 16 from 7 C's, Corpse Blade Volume 3 from Titan, and Nana and Karu Volume 6 from Denpa / labeled as being from Faku, but it's actually just Denpa. Nana and Karu, the sequel series, will be coming out, but it's going to be from Faku, so you won't find it at the same stores that you would Nana and Karu. Like this one, like Barnes & Noble, Crunchyroll probably won't hold it. But I wanted to point that out also because I can't really cover actual like stuff from hentai publishers on YouTube. So I probably won't be talking about the sequel series coming from Faku. Moving on to the 15th. We're in the middle of this 5-week month this time, and we start off with Tokyo Fears Rhapsody. From Viz as part of the signature line. Follow the mighty monster Hachiro as he thwarts schemes and fights ghoulish foes, all to eat human sweets in peace. Hachiro is the mightiest monster around, created to strike terror into humanity, but a chance encounter with ice cream makes him an instant fan of human culture, earning him the ire of his fellow fears. Between rebelling against his overbearing creator and slaughtering ghoulish foes, Hachiro's got a lot more than just ice cream on his plate. Then over at Kodansha, we have Tower Dungeon from Tsutomu Nihei. If you are a fan of Nihei, then you're definitely going to want to pick this one up. It is his first fantasy series. He's usually doing more sci-fi stuff, but I really, really enjoyed this first volume. Their description is the ingenious farm boy Yuva must accompany a contingent of knights through the increasingly dangerous floors of massive tower on the way to rescue the princess. Nihei brings his unique sensibility to bear on a crumbling world of malformed creatures, wounded soldiers, and labyrinthine darkness. This one's got 4 volumes so far, so it won't take much to catch up, and his titles are usually not that long either. But again, I really like this one. Definitely recommend for not just Nihei fans existing, but if you're a fantasy fan, then this is a really great one. Then we've got from Yen Press, The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. This is also from J Novel Club. Xenos hails from the slums, but he won't let that stop him from paving his own path to success when he chances upon a healer and begins learning the curative arts. When an adventuring party extends him an invitation, Xenos is elated, only to find himself treated like dirt. Despite honing his skills to perfection, the party deems him useless and kicks him out. Now broke and out of luck, Xenos starts an illegal clinic, becoming a shadow healer. Word of his genius quickly spreads through the city's underbelly, but as his reputation grows among the dregs of society, word of Xenos' ability reaches the wrong pair of ears. Moving on to another Yen Press, The 13th Footprint. This one, I believe, was delayed from June. After their son is released from the hospital, the Toya family begins receiving mysterious postcards in the mail with no sender or return address, just a note describing the future. From the author of Erased and For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams, Kei Sanbei. I don't know if this was released in hardcovers, but judging by the length and the price, I'm assuming it is. Then we go to Tokyo Pop with Cute But Not Cute. Keiichi Hozumi, 30, is a perfect man who has been blessed with everything. The company he started is going well, his private life is very fulfilling, and everything in life is as he pleases, except one thing: he's extremely lonely. This is a single volume BL title. Moving on, we have one from Fantagraphics this month, Brain Damage from Shintaro Kago, one that I was very excited to get. This is a nice hardcover volume, the same trim size as their release of Dementia 21. From the brilliant, twisted mind of manga artist Shintaro Kago, a new collection of short stories rife with skin-crawling suspense, visceral body horror, and pitch-dark humor. If you are a fan of horror manga and you've never tried anything from Kago before, I definitely recommend it, especially if you are a body horror fan. Then we've got Contrast from 7Seas. This is a single volume BL. Boys love manga about just how complicated love is when opposites attract. Then from brand new publisher Manga Mavericks. You might be familiar with Manga Mavericks from their podcast, but now they have started publishing their own manga, starting with 3 of their own titles, and 3 titles I'm going to touch on briefly that they are going to help distribute to people here in the US. First up, Zigoku's Foreman Volume 1. This is the only ongoing title that they have. Meet the literal boss from hell. Mizuchi, once a human, died, went to hell, and became an unruly demon. Though he's not just any demon, he's a foreman and with underlings who make up a motley crew. With a magic sword and super strength, some hellish construction work should be a snap, but Mizuchi and his crew are hell-bent on doing anything aside from their work. Follow that with Bonds. This and the next one from them are both just one-shots. In an alternate take on Journey to the West, Son Goku and Sanzo have only just begun their long journey, and trust doesn't come easily. Their already shaky bond is tested further when Sanzo's misgivings lead to a rift between the two. Is the journey over before it even begins, or is it true that adversity is what forges unshakable bonds? And then their last original one is Alternative Self-Liner Note. The good die young. There's a whole movement of entertainers who by 27 years old had left their mark on the world, including my God. At 28, what have I done? Am I worthy to stand on the same stage? Why does my gospel stay unwritten? So I've read Alternative and Bonds, and both are very enjoyable. They're not being sold everywhere, but you can get them directly on the Manga Mavericks website, as well as from, I know they're at Merry Manga Company, maybe other places. I don't think they have them selling yet at Barnes & Noble or some of the bigger stores. But if you want to support a new small independent publisher, then definitely check them out. And they are also helping to distribute with Red String Manga 3 different GL titles: Senpai no Kohai, How No One Lurks Beneath the Snow, and The Murderer and Her Runaway Desire. All 3 of these were already available, so I'm not going to talk about them individually that much. But I think that you had to import from Canada, so I would have had to get it that way. But now you can get it through Manga Mavericks on their website, or anywhere that carries Manga Mavericks books. Moving on, we get one from Animate International to wrap up this week. Meet Tashiro, an awkward college student who only loves one thing: his adorable senpai, Ebihara. He'll stop at nothing to get senpai to date him. Problem is, Ebihara doesn't want anything to do with him, or does he? If he doesn't, why does he keep kissing Tashiro? Don't miss this hilarious comedy of errors that is sure to have you asking why Tashiro-kun is like this. And then we've got some final volumes to wrap up this week from Viz: Tokyo Alien Bros Volume 3, from 7 Seas, Guilty Smile Volume 3, and My Sister Took My Fiancé and Now I'm Being Courted by the Beastly Prince Volume 4, and from Titan, I'll Be the Soul Sender Volume 7. Now let's move into the 22nd of July. These all came out last Tuesday, and we're starting out with, from Viz Media, Ponyo Film Comic All-in-One Edition. This is the entire, I think it's 4 or 5 individual volumes that they put into this one hardcover. They are small trim hardcovers. They're about the same size as a Shonen Jump book or a Shoujo Beat book. But if you're a big fan of Miyazaki and Ghibli, then these are really nice to add to anyone's Ghibli collection. I really like them myself. I think they look great on the shelf next to the movies. They are a little expensive at $30, but it is full color all the way through. And I really like having the ability to just kind of stare at some of the art from the movies on these frames. It's like a tiny art book, basically. Then moving on, from J Novel Club, we've got Gushing Over Magical Girls Volume 1, the manga behind the hit anime series. Hi, I'm Hiragi Utena. I'm a normal magical girl loving middle school girl, or at least I was, but then some talking mascot showed up out of the blue and cast a spell on me. Now's my chance to join my beloved magical girls as a villain? Hang on, something's wrong with my outfit. This can't be happening. No, don't post pictures. Watch this shy magical girl fan transform into a sadistic dominatrix. When good and evil collide, who will be the one to submit? And then we've got a bunch of stuff coming from Yen Press on this week, starting out with Misanthrope Teaches a Class for Demi-Humans. Rei Hitoma is a former teacher with a deep disdain for his fellow human beings. But after 2 years of unemployment, he's ready for a change of pace. He takes a new job at a school in the mountains, hoping to live a slow, relaxing life surrounded by nature. But on his first day, he passes by a peculiar student with animal ears. Turns out this is no ordinary student. It's a place dedicated to helping demi-humans become full-fledged human beings. Next up is Allmark. Allmark is not the fighter that his father Reyes is, but seeks to be worthy of his recognition. But Reyes wants to spare his son from the cruelties of their life, so he sends him to a prestigious school to learn magic, where he hopes to return home strong enough to bring prosperity to his homeland and make his father proud. Then we've got Bocchi the Rock, the comic anthology. This is several short comic stories from various creators focused on the characters of the original Bocchi the Rock 4-Koma series. But they're not 4-Koma, it's just comics. And it is an ongoing anthology series. Often these anthologies are just a single volume, so that's interesting. Then we've got Dead Mount, Death Play, Side Story, Phantom Solitaire's Art of Disguising Oneself as a Supernatural Being, Volume 1. This astonishing autobiography written by Tena Sorimura, follows my rise to the top as well as how I became known as Phantom Solitaire in an adventure the likes of which you've never seen before. If you read closely, you'll find some familiar names, including our friends at the Shinjuku Police Department. It's phenomenal, extravagant, you've never read anything like it before. That's right, get a front row seat to this death play. So fans of Dead Mount Death Play definitely will want to grab that spinoff. And then we've got a special volume, Delicious in Dungeon World Guide, The Adventurer's Bible Complete Edition. Prepare for adventure, delve into the depths of Delicious in Dungeon with a smorgasbord of illustrations, never before seen secret tales, a monster encyclopedia, and detailed information about all your favorite characters, including their age, BMI, and even the first time they died. Featuring more than 70 new pages, this updated edition covering the complete series is packed with all you need to know to explore the deepest labyrinths. So they did release the shorter version of this not too long ago, and this is covering the rest of the series. So if you are a fan of Delicious in Dungeon, this is going to be an excellent piece to add to your collection, which I am a huge fan of Delicious in Dungeon, so I can't wait to get my copy sometime soon. Then we've got Double the Trouble, Twice as Nice, an ongoing shoujo sci-fi romance series. You let me stay here, I'll take care of you. How's that sound? This was a mistake, a very big mistake. Well, it's not like Yuri Hayama could just leave an unconscious child in the middle of the street. However, since her phone was dead, she ended up bringing him back to her place, which leads to the current dilemma. There's a ridiculously hot guy in her bed. Plus, because he has a mysterious ability to transform from angelically cherubic to sinfully sexy and zero qualms about using it to get whatever he wants, he's already got her twisted around his little finger. Next from Yen Press, we have Konosuba, Even More Explosions on This Wonderful World, Volume 1. Megumin's adventures continue. She's been living a peaceful life in Axel since forming a party with Kazuma and the others, but one night, she witnesses the wonderful work of a certain thief gang. Entranced by their coolness, she, without consulting them, decides to help them out by starting her very own thief gang. She'll need to gather an elite force if she's going to punish any corrupt nobles, but all the adventurers in Axel already know just how weird Megumin can be. Then we've got Level Up with the Gods, Volume 1. Final Beacon of Hope. The appearance of the tower marked the end of this world, yet despite the odds, ordinary college student Yuwon Kim is the first to make it to the top and join the ranks of the powerful inner gods. Accompanied by legends such as Hercules, Vishnu, and Sun Wukong, Yuwon and his allies face the monstrous outer gods who threaten to wipe out their very existence. Unable to lift a finger against such foes, their last chance rests on sending Yuwon back to the day his world ended to train to defeat the outer gods for good, as long as he survives the brutal tutorial stage once more. Next up, we have Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right. Luna Ishikawa is a dark and mysterious vampire, or so she'd like her new classmates to believe. The truth is, while she may be one of the not-so-mythical bloodsuckers, she doesn't really live up to the hype. She's short and clumsy, and she can't even suck blood properly. So when her classmate Tatsuda Otori discovers her little drinking problem, he can't help but lend a hand. Can he nurse Luna from the small, timid animal she is into a fearsome creature of the night? Then we've got Lycoris Recoil Official Comic Anthology React. Welcome to Cafe Lycorico. From devising new menu items to balancing the books, get a taste of the daily lives of Chisato, Takina, and the rest of the Lycorico squad in this official comic anthology. Then we've got Monster Tribe Volume 1. These are still coming from Yen Press. Ten is a high school boy who wants nothing more than an average peaceful life, which is tough for a half-human from a family full of monsters. After a portal is torn open between the monster world and their own, Ten and his brothers are pressed to hunt down the invaders threatening humanity, with the promise that success means getting a wish granted. But can they safely see their mission through, and will Ten ever achieve the normal days he dreams of? Next is another Yen Press one that I am very excited about, and that is Neighborhood Craftsman Stories from Kanda's Gokuro-cho. Whether it's household goods or clothing or their very homes, the people of the Kanda neighborhood in the city of Edo depend on the expertise of local craftsmen. These artisans have years of experience perfecting their craft, but there's always room for them to learn and experiment, developing new techniques that will take their work to even greater heights. Step into the exquisitely illustrated workshops of a cooper, swordsmith, dyer, weaver, and plasterer, and witness the traditional techniques on which modern Japan was built. This is a hardcover release. I have not gotten my copy yet, but I've heard a lot of great things from people who have already gotten it. So looking forward to receiving mine. It's on order. I'm just waiting for it to come in the mail. Then we've got Suzuki-kun's Mindful Life. Looks can be deceiving. After all, one glance at the towering and intimidating Kaoru Suzuki is enough to send people packing and get others riled up for a fight. But the guy's actually a softie inside, as well as a flower lover and an avid baker. When Suzuki gets harassed on the train, delicate but unexpectedly tough boy swoops in to save the day. This unlikely duo kicks off a friendship that proves that what you see isn't always what you get. And we got one more Yen Press title from this week, and that is Superstring Marco Polo's Travel to the Multiverse, from artist Boichi, who you might recognize from stuff like Dr. Stone, Origin, or Sunken Rock. When Marco Polo's parents are executed for their involvement in a royal conspiracy, he takes a job as a deckhand to provide for his younger siblings. But one day, a monster attack wrecks his ship, leaving Marco stranded on a mysterious island in Asia. Not long after that, he's granted strange powers by a beastly girl who calls him Master. This is just the beginning of a cross-dimensional journey spanning time and space, and the fate of the world, including Marco's family, hangs in the balance. So now we're moving over to some Tokyo Pop titles after that big bunch of Yen Press, starting with The Unwanted Bride loves the Crown Prince with all her heart. When her country of Lydia loses the war, Princess Tinalia must wed the enemy Prince Keith. The arrangement isn't as dire as dire as it sounds, though. After all, Tinalia has been in love with Keith for years. The next one from Tokyo Pop is The Desert Butterfly Yearns to Be Caught. As a single-volume BL, Seto, the young head of a desert country, was restless and dissatisfied. Even when he wanted to enjoy a night out, his personal bodyguard Kyle was too controlling. And then we move over to 7 Seas with Tough Love at the Office, the complete Yuri collection. The entire 3-volume series of the manga, originally titled Black and White, is now available in a single omnibus collection. Sparks and fists fly in this violent Yuri love story. They originally put the first volume out a couple years ago or so, 3 years, 4 years, I don't know. It was a little bit ago. And they canceled the second and third volumes, and now they've re-released the entire thing in a single volume that's priced the same as 2 individual volumes would have been. I read the first one. It was an enjoyable first volume, so I'm glad that they finally got this one out there. And then we move on to Lion Hearts, a sweet boys' love story about young love and how it can withstand the test of time. Following that, with another 7 Seas, You Will Become My Wife. In this steamy romance manga, one woman is overwhelmed by the pleasure and desire she receives from her handsome fiancé. What she really wants is to know his feelings. And then we wrap up this week with one more 7 Seas title, Two Guys at the Vet Clinic. A rescued kitten brings together 2 men in this sweet boys' love manga, another 1-volume BL title. And then this week wrapped up with some final volumes. Higurashi When They Cry Meguri Volume 5, I'm Quitting Heroing Volume 8, Your Forma Volume 3, A Tale's Tale Volume 4, Alpha Wolf Girl, Omega Wolf Boy Volume 4, and Todai Revengers Omnibus Volumes 5 and 6. Now, before we move into the final week and look at the stuff released on the 29th, I'm going to just give a word from our sponsor, or from the sponsor of this channel and of this video, Walt's Comic Shop. Now, in the US, we have tons of options. You know, I'm located here. I know much of my audience is here in the US as well. We have tons of options of where to buy our manga. You know, I get most of my stuff at this point from either In-Stock Trades or Alibris.com, and sometimes I'll get stuff at Barnes & Noble if I stop in to a actual physical location. We have options is the point. If you're outside of the US, you don't always have as many options where you can buy your physical English language manga. But if you're in the EU, a great option is, of course, Walt's Comic Shop. They've been supporting the channel for a long time, and I've gotten tons of people telling me how great they are and that they're glad that they've started to buy their manga from there. So if you are in the EU, check out Walt's. They have great selection, great prices, great customer service, great packaging. And if you've never shopped with Walt's before, you can use code TheOmnibusCollector to get free shipping on your first order with them of €40 or more, shipped within the EU. So again, free shipping on your first order within the EU of €40 or more. Just use code TheOmnibusCollector. And let's get back into the video and look at some stuff from the 29th, starting out with something really big physically. It is big because it is a deluxe edition hardcover. Planets Deluxe Edition Volume 1. In 2075, working class astronauts try to clear the junk humanity brought into space, whether it's deadly orbital debris or just the messiness of being human. I love this series a lot, so I'm going to yap about it for a little bit, but I really, really, really freaking love Planets. It was one of the first manga that was not like just a Viz Shonen Jump title that I read back in like 2004, I want to say, was when Tokyo Pop was originally releasing it. No impression of who Makoto Yukimura was. And I actually got into Vinland Saga later because I realized it was the same creator as Planets, and I loved this series. I've reread it multiple times. I own it in both the original Tokyo Pop and the new paperbacks from Dark Horse, and now I will have a third edition on my shelves because I love it that much. And the design of this one, I know the image of it is not that great, but if you see it in person or see videos of it, it's so stunning. Anyway, I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic sci-fi slice of life title, beautiful artwork, and if you're already a fan of Vinland Saga and you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's only going to be 2 hardcover volumes that'll wrap up the whole thing. And while we're here talking about the newest deluxe edition hardcovers to come from Dark Horse, the ones, of course, that have been announced, I made a couple videos already about Lone Wolf and Cub and Old Boy, and it hasn't been officially announced yet, but it was kind of leaked by Dark Horse themselves at a panel at San Diego Comic-Con that something special is coming for Astro Boy. They didn't explicitly state that it was a hardcover deluxe edition, but it was at a panel where they were talking about other deluxe edition hardcovers and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's going to be the next one that they announce, but it seems like Astro Boy is on its way to getting a deluxe hardcover as well, and I am so excited for that. Let's take a look at our next Dark Horse title, Cat Plus Crazy Volume 1. From Wataru Nadatani, the creator of Cat Plus Gamer, comes Cat Plus Crazy, a humorous cat manga for all animal and cat lovers. When cat fanatic and high schooler Kensuke Fuji meets the ultimate cat whisperer, he decides to become their disciple to learn everything about cats. This is a 6-volume series, and Cat Gamer, which actually came after this one, is wrapping up with volume 8, so that last volume should come out pretty soon here. But I really enjoy Cat Gamer. It's a really fun little goofy slice of life series. Next up, we've got from 7 Seas Entertainment. Actually, I skipped the one I meant to go to. Ichi the Killer, Volume 1, another one that I'm extremely excited about. The ultra-violent tale of a broken killer and his Yakuza nemesis that inspired the infamous film from Takashi Miike. A shocking exploration of wrath, vengeance, and dark corners of the human psyche by the author of Homunculus and Hikari Man. So Homunculus, they wrapped up. Hikari Man, I think, has 1 more omnibus, maybe 2 more omnibus to come out, and then it'll be done. It's wrapped up in 4 omnibus. I just can't remember what the last one to come out was. And then this one's coming out, and I'm really hoping that they'll go further with Hideo Yamamoto's library. I guess we'll see, like, if the sales on this one are as good as I'm hoping they should be, then maybe they'll continue putting out Yamamoto's stuff. But I'm super excited. This is something that should have been put in English a long time ago. I'm surprised it never got released, but I'm happy that it's here now. And now something completely different. The next book from 7 Seas, Shinokun's Tight Squeeze, Helpless Against His Luring Touch. A steamy office romance about a woman forced to mentor a subordinate who proves to be much more than a handful. And we wrap up this month with 1 book coming from Udon Entertainment, Blue Archive Comic Anthology Volume 1. Welcome to Kibotos, a massive city teeming with drama, challenges, and the joys of youth. In this comic anthology, 13 manga creators bring you wild new stories set in the fantasy RPG world of Blue Archive. And there are a few final volumes as well. We've got Vampire Dormitory Volume 14. I think that's from Yen. Before You Discard Me, I Shall Have My Way With You Volume 4, I think is from 7 Seas, as well as The Witches of Adamas Volume 11, which is from 7 Seas. And if you know anything about that title, it brings new meaning to Family Jewels. Anyway, So that was it for the month of July. Those were all the new debuts and the final volumes from this month. A lot of great stuff came out, a lot of stuff that I've already read and loved, and a lot of stuff that I haven't picked up yet that I'm looking forward to checking out. But let me know in the comments below what you picked up this month and what you're looking forward to picking up from July that you haven't grabbed yet. What have you been enjoying so far of the things that I mentioned here? I'm always curious to know what's going on y'all's side. If you're new here, again, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that this was entertaining and informative, and I hope that you'll subscribe and tune in for future videos. If you're not new here, thanks again for joining me. I always appreciate it. I'm hoping to get back to putting these videos out towards the beginning of the month rather than the end of the month. I know a lot of people like it at the end of the month because everything's out there. If you like something that I talked about, you can just pretty much pick it up at this point. But I would prefer, instead of it being a like, in case you missed it, I would rather it be a, hey, this is what's coming out soon. So hopefully August can be earlier, but I have some other big stuff that I have to put out at the beginning of August. So maybe September I'll have that one out before the first week, or like during the first week. Anyway, thank you again, everyone, for coming and checking the video out. Sorry this one's a little bit different than usual. I hope it still ends up good. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.